It's 2 in the morning. Tomorrow is an important day, but your body is lying there, completely still, while your mind is running a marathon. You keep replaying that conversation from hours ago. You're mapping out scenarios that, honestly, will probably never even happen. Sound familiar? Here's the strange part. The most intelligent and emotionally aware people are often the most exhausted. And it's not because of what they do during the day, but because of what their brain does at night. Today, we're going to uncover why your mind refuses to stop asking, what if? And what that actually says about who you are. What you're feeling isn't just stress. In psychology, this pattern has a name: maladaptive rumination. It's the tendency of your mind to go in circles, repeating the same thought loops, especially when there's uncertainty or social situations involved. But here's the twist. Studies from Yale and the University of Michigan show that if you do this, it's not because you're weak or anxious. You do it because your brain is exceptionally good at recognizing patterns. It's constantly scanning, processing, and searching for meaning. The problem isn't your intelligence. The problem is that your system never receives the signal to stop. Main explanation: the night brain. So what's actually happening inside your brain? It all comes down to your prefrontal cortex. This is the part responsible for planning, analyzing, and reflecting. In people who overthink, this region stays active, even when you should be resting. Meanwhile, something called the default mode network, your brain's background processing system, keeps generating internal monologues. The result? A mind that's always online, reviewing your past and drafting responses to conversations that haven't even happened yet. Why did this start? For many people, this habit doesn't begin in adulthood. It starts in childhood or adolescence, often in environments where outcomes were unpredictable. If you grew up where moods changed without warning, or where mistakes had disproportionate consequences, your brain learned a logical survival strategy: anticipate everything. Because if you can predict what's coming, maybe you can protect yourself. Overthinking isn't a flaw. It's an adaptation of a highly intelligent nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Key insight: the dopamine trap. Now here's where it gets interesting. Psychologists identify 2 types of overthinking. First, there's reflective rumination, looking inward to understand your emotions. This is actually a strength linked to high emotional intelligence. But then there's brooding rumination, a passive loop of thinking about problems without reaching a solution. This is what steals your sleep and creates decision paralysis. Here's the deceptive part. Thinking feels productive. Psychologists call this the illusion of mental progress. Your brain releases small amounts of dopamine when it thinks it's solving a problem, even if the problem is completely imaginary. So you feel rewarded just for thinking, not for actually reaching a solution. That's why when someone tells you, just stop thinking about it, it's useless advice from a neurological standpoint. Your brain has a chemical incentive to keep going. Why it matters? The upside. If you're an overthinker, you're probably more perceptive than you realize. A 2013 study published in Psychological Science found that people with higher levels of rumination also score higher in cognitive empathy. You're more sensitive to social nuances, more aware of how your words land, and more capable of sensing the emotional texture of a room. The same engine that exhausts you is the one that makes you deeply insightful. The challenge? Perception without resolution is exhausting. You notice everything. You feel the weight of every possibility. But the more you think, the harder it becomes to reach clarity. The truth is, the mind can't solve every problem by thinking. Some things have to be felt, decided, or simply let go. Modern therapy doesn't try to stop your thoughts. It changes your relationship with them. There's a concept called cognitive diffusion. Instead of saying, "This situation is dangerous, I need to solve it," which pulls you deeper into the loop, you learn to say, "My brain is generating a worry right now." Overthinking isn't a personality flaw. It's not a sign of instability. At its core, it's a highly active mind that learned to stay alert in a world that once felt unsafe. Your challenge isn't to shut your mind off, but to teach it patiently that you're finally safe and that it's okay to rest. Understanding this pattern won't erase it, but it will take away its power over you. And sometimes, that understanding is exactly where change begins.